Gabriel Quak! What a goal!
The goal of the season winner, Gabriel Quak.
Gabriel Quak does it. History has been made. Gabriel Singapore Premier League champions of 2021 Lion City Sailors.
To the ground when Ole Allez Allez. They going down when Ole Allez Allez. We represent the town when Ole Allez Allez. One is going down when Ole Allez Allez.
Yeah, Ole Allez Allez. That's right. It's the latest edition of the Rated RR podcast. We've gone out and got ourselves a champion. Gabriel Quak joins us fresh after winning the title with the Lion City Sailors. Gabriel, how good does it feel to be a champion?
Yeah, first of all, hi Raushan and hi Roshan. Good to thanks for having me on your podcast. Definitely feels great, amazing. I think although it's a day or two have passed, but I think I'm still kind of feeling it. Messages are still flowing in. Yeah, so certainly I think probably will take quite a while before like the news and all start to settle. But right now, yeah, certainly enjoying this new status of a SPL champion.
Gabriel, congratulations from me, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us on the podcast. Where does this SPL title rank amongst your career achievements?
I think in terms of, I think it definitely ranks among the top few. Not that I have many lah. Probably
Lions 12 title as well.
Lions
and the FA Cup.
I have the FA Cup. I have the Malaysia Super League, and these are the three league and cup titles. So I think this is, I will rank it as number one because the other two, that was when I was a little younger and didn't really play as much as a big role as I wanted. But for this, I think contributed enough to feel the full force of it. So I think I really enjoyed and I really like this one.
You talk about finishing first and all that. It wasn't easy. LCS didn't make it easy. It was exciting for us fans. But let's take you back to 24th September. Roche was in the stadium. I was watching in the stadium. And that draw with Albrechts. Last minute to concede like that. How was the team feeling after the match? Because it felt like a sucker blow.
We knew that was a really, really huge game. It was probably one of the title decider match. And I think we started the game very well. We got what we wanted, an early goal and something to help on to. But I think the last minute goal was indeed a blow to us. I couldn't sleep the next night and kind of think. So, but it mathematically is still not over yet. We knew we had to count on a few favors, and thankfully somehow in the hands of God we got it.
Speaking of favors, and then suddenly a couple of weeks later, Albrechts 0, Tampines 0. Changed the script entirely. We saw a lot of LCF players going crazy on social media. I'm sure you all have a group chat that you all went crazy on. But was that the point when you knew, all right, game on?
Yeah, it was so late so late in the season already. That was, I think, the second last game or so. So we knew that. I think Albrechts themselves also know that they couldn't afford to slip out. Any slip out now, it's the end. So I was actually watching that game so intense in front of the TV and all, and really celebrating. So of course, when the final whistle, the group chat kind of went crazy, and I think we were not really celebrating. We still had to do our job, but of course it puts the ball back to our court, and we knew that what we had to do, all it was in our hands. So I think that kind of gives us that extra little bit and kind of a recovery from the draw against Albrechts. Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to, you touched on something interesting. You spoke about the fact that you couldn't sleep that night or the next day, and took you some time to sort of get over that result, that draw against Albrechts. How did the team go about then trying to forget that result, trying to move on from that?
Yeah, I spoke to a few of them because the manner in which we conceded the goal, it was so late that we didn't have time to recover, like it was literally the last kick of the game. So, to put it bluntly, if we were to concede, I would rather we concede like probably 10 minutes earlier. At least we had some time to push on it. So it was really like, that's it. And I think recovery, what we did, when I went back, I think I didn't even wanted to look at anything, the phones, and the next couple of days was just like mind off football and just get my mind off. So, but the games were coming thick and fast. We had recovery the next day, so naturally we spoke about a little bit about it. And I mean, life goes on. You see, we just have to move on and get on and fight because we have Tampines coming up. Tampines or Geylang, I can't remember which it was. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just happy that we managed to still get the job done.
Well, I mean, when you look at your record in the league, right? I think it was just one defeat all season long. But there was a perception that perhaps you guys had gotten off to a poor start under Vidmar early on the season. Struggling a little bit to get a bit of momentum going. Was there any sort of turning point you feel that you had in the season that kind of made you guys sort of believe that this could go on and happen for us?
I don't think we really had a bad start. I think it was just because expectations were high. That's why every game we are expected to win. But you could see the difference when team plays us. They are always stepping up their game, as you could see also on the recent Sunday Balestier. So, but I always told the players and all, because for myself, I step into every match knowing that what I want to do already. I want to win. I want to, we just need to have that bit of arrogance kind of thing. And I always like this phase, like, when I enter the boxing ring with two boxers, you can't be just trying to, like, I want to try to win. I don't want to lose. I avoid defeat. You must going in wanting to win. That's why when two boxers go in, one wanting to win and one just not wanting to lose makes a lot of difference, although they might sound the same. Yeah, so I think building on last year, I think we gave a good account of ourselves and we knew that we had a good team. So there wasn't really a turning point, but every wins build momentum, and as we after each game when we win, I think you could see that slowly, like, it becomes a habit. And I think Vidmar definitely has done a great job because he really gives us the freedom to play and express ourselves. That's why I think that's why most of us flourish.
I mean, it's interesting that you bring up Vidmar as well, because that's something I'm going to touch on next. The fact that you guys have had 3 different coaches this season. You had Vidmar. Let's remember Robin as well. Let's give him credit where it's due. He was
unbeaten as well.
Unbeaten in his
record,
matches.
if I'm not wrong.
That's right. And then he got replaced by Kim Do-hoon. Can you just tell us about how big a challenge was it adapting to those sort of styles, the different styles, and then what the key differences are between Kim and Vidmar?
I think Vidmar is a very typical, more, although he's Australian, but it's a bit like a European coach whereby he demands a lot of flair and focus a lot of creativity. Whereas Kim's is, I think, I'm not sure if you watch a lot of K-League games and Korean national team games, they're always very compact. They focus a lot of defense. That's like the foundation of what they want to play. So it's 2 different styles, which is why we also took some time to actually adjust and all. But I think as players, we can't control such appointment, like, who's the next coach to come. So what we can do is just to adapt. And although it took quite a while for us to adapt to Coach Kim's, but ultimately I think we have done well. Yeah, but talking about the style, I think the main difference is that, like, for Vidmar, he wants a lot of direct penetrations, and I think it's more of his attack is the best form of defense. Whereas for Kim, it's more of like attack wins you games, but defense wins you championship kind of mentality and kind of philosophy. So I think there's no right, no wrong. Different style, different philosophy, and at the end of the day, at this level, it's really just result matters, no matter how ugly we need. Yeah.
Gabe, you talk about Kim Do-hoon wanting to be more solid at the back and being more compact that way. But we've seen Faris Ramli, for example, explode under Kim. A strong end to the season, right? What has Kim's impact been for you in terms of helping your game going forward?
Of course, when he first came, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best defensively, but I knew what he wanted. So I had to adjust a little bit. Like in terms of, I probably have to run an extra 1-2 kilometers a game. And so because of his game plans and all. So I think because of his strict demands, that's what I did also, to make sure that I adjust to his style, because it's no longer like I have a little bit more of leeway under Vidmar where I can afford to get away with sometimes not coming back kind of thing. But Yeah, I think definitely playing under Kim these couple of months has shaped me up to be tougher and things like that. But I think not an issue for me because even when I was in Thailand, I was working with 6 different coaches in a year. So I knew that I had to adapt quickly because new coach Jin, everybody starting from a clean slate. It's no longer what you've done the past 6 months and all. I think you look at the team selection this year, there's no guarantee starter. You have to show and prove week in, week out. Yeah, I think like you mentioned, Faris also, I think coach appreciates that he's working and giving us the extra bit of fight in the middle. So, which is why I think you could see that that explains all his assists and kind of things. So yeah, I think it's like this, sometimes when a different coach comes in, some players will step up more. I think it's natural.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting you mentioned Faris yourself. Faris and Tajeli as well is getting a lot more game time under Kim and getting rewarded with that national team call up, which is really good to see. Now, you guys have got a big squad there. There's going to be times when certain players are not going to play. They're going to be left out of the team. What is that atmosphere like, and how is that harmony within the squad sort of maintained?
Of course, like when you are not playing, you will feel unhappy. You have every right to, but that happens in every part, in the world, in every part, every team, like Real Madrid, PSG. I'm pretty sure that the players who are not playing, they are unhappy. So even like Ronaldo, let's say from Liverpool going to PSG, he's not even playing. I'm sure they're not happy. Likewise for us, but if you want to play in a big team, this will definitely be one of an issue. And yeah, of course, everyone has to fight and we have to push each other. And I told some of the younger players also as well not to be disheartened because things in football change very quickly. It could be changed in as quick as a day. And because I myself, I mean, not that I'm playing very long, but 15 years, 10 years of professional football, I do have my fair share of downs as well. And
of course,
back in my early days, I wasn't playing regularly. I was always on the bench. So I totally know how it feels because I experienced everything.
Yeah.
So some advice that I tell to the younger players or those who are not playing, like even like Akari or some of the under 21 boys, I say, just continue to work. At the end of the day, you just need to find that one person who appreciates you. And when your time comes, because it's a cycle. Eventually, one day, 5 years, 6 years down the road, probably I will not be playing and all. So I always tell them you need to stay humble, stay hard, work hard and kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's interesting for me as well, Rausha, before you jump into your question is I wonder because whether there'll come a point where, I mean, players want to be a part of the LCS project, right? If I were playing right now, I'd want to be part of the squad. But I wonder whether it comes to a point where some guys who are in the team maybe decide, I think I need to leave to go somewhere else to try and get a few minutes. So I think over the next few years, it's going to be quite fascinating to see actually for me how this project sort of develops, Raushan.
We've talked a lot about the project and the squad, but Gabe, I want to ask you about something else. But before that, just on something you said, you talk about this mentoring aspect of things. Talking through to younger players, you talk about having been in the game long enough to know. Did that come naturally to you, or is that something you enjoy? Like you enjoy being a abang almost. You know what I mean?
I mean, not really, but it just comes natural when since I joined last year and this year, sometimes in trainings and I look around I'm like one of the oldest there. So naturally, sometimes the younger players speak to me and they looked up to me to just have a chat. And I feel that it's just like a life cycle. When I was young, I'm hoping that the older players, if they take a moment to speak to me, I will feel it make my day. So yeah. I always like to treat people how I'm treated. Of course, different people have different mentoring styles, or some people like the older ones, they are more reserved. But I feel I'm very outgoing and speak. So I want to make sure that they feel welcome also, in this journey, because I think football is a pretty short journey. And yeah, definitely one day we will have to make way for the younger ones. And I'm definitely not one who is selfish to not want to share my knowledge and all. So yeah, so like what you say, mentoring, I would just tell them certain things, whether they want to listen or not. It's up to them, But yeah, when I was young, that's how I hope to be treated. So now that I'm older, I just treat them how I wish back then when I was their age, how I want to. Yeah, that's basically about it.
Gabe, to me, I'm looking at things from the outside, right? And to me, I have this outsider's perspective. I'm not, in a position where, like you, for example, you know exactly what Kim is telling you. So I have my own views on what your tactical role is within the team, but I want to get your own definition of what your tactical role is within the Lion City Sailors system.
You mean under Kim or?
Under Kim, yes.
Okay, because when he first came, he spoke to me, and I appreciate that because I'm always someone who values this two-way communication. Be it even if I have a good game or a bad game, I appreciate if your coach speaks to me and tell me like what doesn't matter what went right. I'm more importantly like what went wrong and how we can improve, how we can work together. Because ultimately I see him more than my family. I see him every day. Not that I don't go home every day, but I mean, just yeah. So
he's really in your brain when you sleep. Also, you think of him.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, for us, we live and breathe football. I don't know, but for me myself, I do treat my job very seriously, kind of thing. So I told him from day one that, look, if there's anything, let's just speak like a man. Be it positive or negative. I would prefer that rather than I hate for somebody else. And he really likes that. So I think he shared with me some of his plans and what he has. Of course, he told me that I'm very central to his plans and he's been following the games before he came. He's been watching the past few months and all. So, and what I can offer, because I'm a left footer, I can play on the right and the left sometimes. Like if you see this season when he arrived, I featured sometimes on the left. Midway through the game, I switched to the left. Yeah, he does have some plans, and I can tell you that although like when he come and we are playing the SPL sub, he already has one eye set in the AFC of how he wants to play. So I think that's what he wants, some variations, and I'm just glad that I can offer this to him. Like back then when I was young, I was like, why do I stand out? Like everyone is right footer, I'm left. But now I take that like I'm blessed, like it's unique. Maybe that gives me something more to offer for the coach. Yeah. I think in modern football, you can't only play in one position. It's good to offer, like you can play in a couple of positions, and I think that will definitely work in your favor.
Yeah, left-footed players are the best, man. Trust me, I'm also left-footed, so that's why I would say that.
They're left-footed, but they're left-footed, but they're one-footed.
Yeah, exactly. The right foot is just for standing on. Yeah,
but I scored with my right leg the last game.
Yes, you have.
Okay, we talked about scoring goals. Gabe, you do that quite easily. Your numbers are increasing year on year. In fact, you were awarded the goal of the year again this year for outstanding goal against Balestier. Is that something you've actively worked on in training as you get older?
You mean scoring goals or scoring like beautiful goals?
Both, really? Because you do both quite well, apparently.
I think this year I scored a couple of nice ones. But talking about the goal of the year, I think that kind of volley is something that in training, sometimes after training, we do that, like some of them are crossing at the sides, then a few of them are just lying up, taking half volley and volleys. So it's been many years that I'm doing that. So I'm really glad that I was able to score one like this in a game, and it goes down as like, it's like in the history books, one for the video is nobody can say like, don't do it in training, do it in the game, then you can talk to me and show me. So like that is done. I'm just glad that. So that is definitely, I think, one of my favorite goals. But talking about scoring and all, I think me as an attacker, of course, since young, I've been playing as an attacker, as a striker actually. Then I slowly moved down the wings. Like any attackers, I love to score goals and things like that. But I think in the early stage of my career, like the early 20s to mid 20s, I do score every season. There's never a season which I failed to break the net. Yeah, but I'm not scoring that much. I mean, probably because I'm a winger. So I used to think that maybe, my primary role is, just to cross and all. If I score, I score. But as I grow older, I listen to interviews, to coaches speaking, to players speaking. I think that goals are very important aspect in the attacker's point of view. So, and of course, who doesn't like to score, to celebrate and be in the headlines the next day. So it was just one moment. I just tell myself that, look, I have to change my game and tweak a bit. Like, how can I get myself more on the score sheet? So it's like the lottery, if you don't buy a ticket, you can't. So sometimes I tell myself, what can I improve? So talk to a few coaches, what can I improve? Some of them, the advice they gave was like, you need to make some runs into the box. You never know, the ball could fall into you. Like the other flank, when they cross, you have to run in, you have to shoot, you have to cross.
Yeah.
So I think I tweaked my game a little bit when back then in the early stages, I was just, more or less like building a house at the corners at the side, doing fancy skills. Yeah. So I think now the past couple of years, I've more getting involved more centrally, moving. Yeah. So I think I'm just happy that I'm seeing the rewards of whatever that how I decide to change my gameplay. Because at the end of the day, people also remember you for the goals you score. I mean, to say sad truth, but it is what it is. Yeah.
I know I'm smiling because you mentioned yourself working on making sure you get those runs into the box, and I think the goal that for me stands out, right? Perhaps it's not your most beautiful, but the goal you scored against Balestier, for example. I mean, people will say the keeper should have come out and claimed the cross, but you identify that tiny bit of space between Bruncevic and the goalkeeper, Zach Leong. Cross comes in from Akari, and you actually go and take advantage of that. So I think that for me, that's like a sign of things that you've been working on, you focused on, and you're getting your reward by putting yourself in those sorts of positions. Now, with the numbers that you've been putting up, Gabe, with the performances that you've been putting in, were you a little bit surprised that you weren't nominated for Player of the Year this season?
Well, to be very honest with you, yes, I was. Indeed, I was disappointed. Of course, I didn't expect to win it. But, prior to the season, that was definitely my aim, to win it. I mean, I won't be shy to admit, I definitely want to win it. After winning it last year, I think it's how do I say, it's like a habit kind of thing, like for the people who make their first million, they want to make the next million. When you buy something branded, you want to buy the next. So like same like likewise for me, when I first won the award last year, I love the feeling. I want to win it again. And I think all of us knew, like the Ballon d'Or, like you look at Cristiano and Messi fighting at it every year. Same, I want to enjoy that feeling, like I'm always in the running year in, year out. So prior to the season start, that was definitely my aim. I think I had a very good first half of the season, definitely. No doubt second half was there also, but I think when teams arrived, there was some rotation. I don't know what was the selection criteria, but no doubt Doi is the Doi, Stipe, George, they are definitely worthy nominees. Definitely a little disappointed not to be nominee. I didn't expect to win, but just hope at least nominee after achieving that last year. But I just congrats to all the winners there, and definitely I will be trying for it again next year.
You talk about the disappointment of not being nominated. Sorry, I just had to quickly touch on your teammate who's been nominated 4 years in a row but still hasn't won. Have you spoken to him about his disappointment?
I haven't spoken to him this year, but last year I didn't because he was actually my competitor, So if I were hope for him to win it, means I couldn't. Yeah, but I think jokes aside, me and Stipe, I think we share a very special connection. I think it shows on the pitch as well. I think he reads my runs. I read his runs as well, and I really enjoy playing with him. Like we have amazing stats and numbers together. So not only that, off the pitch, we do hang out a little bit, and I think an amazing professional, amazing person. I never see someone who works that hard, always loves to lift training, and he pushes me because I'm not somebody who, does a lot of extra work. I mean, I do, but compared to Stipe, I'm nothing. But sometimes, his mental strength, and I thought I was very strong mentally, but I saw him and he's also. So I think it's good. Like we have this pushing each other kind of environment, and I think it really works for us. Yeah.
Let's move on to the AFC Champions League, but I'll leave it to Roshan, who's played in the competition before, to ask you the question.
Oh no, I was gonna jump in here and say you must be sort of relishing that opportunity to play the highest level in Asia here, Gabe.
I think yes. Last year we missed out. Tampines went through that, and I think this year we were all watching and rooting for them. I think they definitely did very well, bearing the results, which I don't think was a fair reflection of how they put in. It wasn't easy because they had such a team squad. And almost every match day, they were playing the same players. Not easy with a couple of schoolboys there as well. But I was actually watching them closely, the football they play and all. I think they more than held their own. I think you guys probably saw that as well. They dominated some of the games and they were unlucky. So looking forward also to see how we actually fare next year. Definitely not easy, but I think with Coach Kim's experience, he know how is it like the intensity, and I think he should prepare the team pretty well. The team should feel confident. Although it's the first, it's going to be a like debut season there, but like what I say, it's always in the mind and mindset. You can't be going there like, oh, it's our first, let's take it an experience. I mean, why not? Why can't we win it? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Good mentality to have. You said Coach Kim has actually already got one eye on it and has been working with you guys towards a particular plan. Is that right?
Yeah. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. So what is it that he's kind of looking to work on with you guys going into this competition where you're going to be playing against some of the bigger teams on the continent?
Oh no! He's talking about just now, like the tactics. Like sometimes, like in the SPL, I've been playing all on my right, but sometimes he put me on the left and he explains to me, actually this is preparation for like the AFC, like certain games. When like I need those crosses in. I know we there isn't a need to go and beat. We just putting some crosses in. So that kind of thing. I think and certain players has different instructions also, which I think after that he told us that okay, it's actually for preparations. Like why do you put in this position? Why do you want you to only carry out? I mean, the public won't know. Probably if I'm going to the left and people start to wonder why isn't Gabe taking anyone on. I mean, I don't need to explain to anyone, but basically I'm playing. So. And I think it worked out fine. Like especially the Geylang game, the moment I switched to the left, the first cross led to a goal, the third cross led to a goal. Even that day also. So I think then it started to make me wonder like, maybe this could be another weapon in our arsenal. So I think these are just small little details, but definitely there will be more to come. Like how probably there will be a few formations coming in. I'm sure there's definitely not going to be one or two.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, moving on from AFC Champions League, just looking ahead to this LCS project. For us locals, right, it's impossible not to draw parallels with the JDT project because we've seen just across the causeway this club come up from nothing, and we want the same for a club in our country as well. Is that the blueprint for the Sailors to follow? Has that discussions happened to your knowledge?
I think you can't avoid like the JDT names always keep popping up because they themselves have set something that for the rest of the region, or maybe they've already set waves across Asia. But I mean, more notably in Southeast Asia, everyone probably have heard of JDT as one of the powerhouse or big house, big names. And you could see in the beginning, it wasn't an overnight success. I think their first year they didn't win, kind of thing. So it's natural when a new club who wants to work towards something big, definitely JDT will come into a comparison. That is of course, but I think with LCS here, we have our own direction. Our boss for us has their own direction. We can't copy exactly what JDT wants to do, but definitely the only thing that is similar is you want to be successful, you want to be dominant first of all in your own league, then put your name across Southeast Asia, Asia kind of thing. But of course, it will take time and things like that. I mean, when we win this year, people will be wondering, okay, can you keep up next year? And look at JDT, it has gone on for 7 years. And that is where we actually call, okay, it's a legacy and things like that. Yeah, so definitely things are in place. You can see the youth development, the ladies team. I think it's not only the focus, it's on the men's senior team. I think they want to make sure that there's this the supply chain will come up, how's the youth? Because you can buy talent, you can buy players, but you need the injection of young ones coming up. And I think certainly it's not a couple of year project. It will take time. But so far I think happy with how things are going on, and let's see what will unfold.
Yeah.
Gabe, let's move on to the national team now, because it's been half an hour and we're talking about LCS and you a lot, but national team with the Suzuki Cup coming up. Just before that, for the Lion City Sailors, right, as a result of injuries to George and Stipe towards the end of the year, there was a big local contingent that was in the mainstay of the team that went on to achieve the title. I'm not saying George and Stipe didn't play a part; they played a crucial part. But towards the end, the local players played a big part. So, do you think going forward, this will help the national team in terms of familiarity as well as form?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Rosh. Definitely, because you can see that I think a lot of us drafted into the national team, and first of all, it helps because after a good season, you get that winning feeling, that good feeling, and you are bringing this into a tournament, a home tournament, let alone saying that. So I think definitely, I feel that this thing will rub off the other teams when they come. The atmosphere is going to be good. And it's only good for the national team because at the end of the day, yeah, we can be competing against each other in the league, but when we come together, we are all competing for one cause, and it's the Suzuki Cup. We all know how big this tournament is in the region, how it means to the fans, because we won it a pretty number of times already, but I think it's been quite a while. So since we are hosting it this year, and I think a lot of us are at a very good age, like a lot of us, we have good young players coming up, and we have a couple of us who are at our prime age, I would say. So, I mean, we should feel good going in and confident, but of course, in a tournament like this, you never know what happens, like SEA Games. Also, I think I was in the last SEA Games when I was 23, we had a very good team, I thought, but we finished bronze. So, yeah, I think we just have to, when we regroup and we just see how's the preparation like and all to the build up to the tournament.
I'm interested to actually ask you about Song because he's been in Singapore for ages now. What feels like ages. He was actually my teammate at Home United all those years ago, back in 2012. So I've looked on and have watched his development, from an 18-year-old to what he is now. And Singaporean, he's a part of the national setup. What do you think he's going to bring to the Singapore squad?
I think a great addition to the country. First of all, he's been here probably a decade already.
Yes.
He knows the culture here, the players. Importantly, he's familiar. So there's no doubt about how he can actually fit in and things like that. I do know him for a pretty long time now. You can see that his game has changed. He grew more mature now. And I think, he brings a different style because he's not really tall, but he's like stocky, strong guy, a different addition to what the team has. Yeah. So definitely something different to offer to coach. And let's see. And he's known to be a center midfielder, but the last games he's been playing as a striker. Yeah. And I think one common complaint about the Singapore national team is that we lack a striker. Yeah, I think we have good ones, Ilhan, Iksan, a couple of young ones coming up. But I think, Song could be a secret weapon for us. I think he has done well for club level elsewhere. Few avoid by Stipe.
I think he's passed his audition quite well. If he was auditioning for the striker role, the past couple of weeks he's done well. Gabe, I just want to touch on the coaches. You work at your club level with Kim, and you work at the national team level with Tatsuma. Any parallels between the two, or any differences?
Yeah, lengthy training sessions. I don't know whether
lots of details.
I don't know whether I will be dropped after saying this. But I mean, I noticed this about the Koreans and the Japanese because I've been to Japan for some training stint. Worked with Tatsuma for quite a bit now already, and I had some Korean teammates when I was playing overseas. So they always tell me that this is just how the Japanese and Korean works. Long training session because why? They are very detailed and things like that. Planning before meetings and intensity is always high. So I was actually ready for it. And like you say, the similarity, intensity is high. They demands a lot, and long sessions, which is why Japan and Korea are the top 2, top 4 in Asia, because this is the culture. They are disciplined and all. So I mean, it's great that we have two of them in Singapore for everyone, for players and coaches to work from different styles and things like, because I think they themselves will admit they're also learning, from our local coaches, things like that. But I think definitely they can offer much more. And yeah, I think that's how the football in Singapore can grow.
What do you think of the fact that the Suzuki Cup is going to be hosted in Singapore? You take that as an advantage, or is there added pressure there?
I think a little bit of both. Pressure, yes, but sometimes, added pressure can translate to motivation and like for you to do well. And I think in this difficult period, like in the COVID where travel is not really there, I think most of us would prefer it to be held in Singapore, familiarity and things like that. So, of course, we are definitely not going in as favourites, but who knows, home tournament, familiar grounds, unfamiliar ground for the opponent teams, home support, and, many of us just won the league. So, with all these little positive small wins, it could really translate to a big win. Yeah, but of course, we have to make sure we work, because things could also go south. I'm not just talking about the positive. Yeah, it could come crashing, and then like you are the host country, fans' expectations are high. Things could go otherwise, So it could work both ways. But personally, I choose to see it as a good pressure, because I feel that if for us in these professional sports, you need pressure to perform. I need pressure to perform. Like you need to perform in high pressure situation in clutch time. Like the higher the stakes, the better I perform, kind of thing. Like that's personally for myself, and I hope that somehow this thing can turn into a domino effect to the team.
Yeah, clutch is the correct word, because you do perform under high pressure situations, especially in your final game to seal the title for the Lion City Sailors. Gabe, it's been great talking to you. Just before we let you go, we want to jump into a bit more insight into the champions. We're calling it the Get to Know the Champions. So first things first, I want to ask you, you talk about talking to Coach Kim a lot. How's his English? Because I see all his pre-match is via a translator, but I hear that he's taking English lessons a lot. So how's his English?
To be honest, it's horrible.
So is it true? Is it true that he says Sheldon when he's referring to Shardan?
Sheldon, yeah, there's a lot. There's a couple of players, but I think he's improving. But for now, he can't really speak. He still needs a translator. But I told the translator, his name is Brian. I said, you better pray that coach can't speak English. Once he can speak, you're done, man. You're finished. So yeah, but I think in these 2-3 months, you could see that he has put an effort. He is able to converse like the minimum, and he's trying. Like initially when he come, he couldn't speak, but now there's simple like okay, like gather, like I want to speak kind of things. So I think everyone appreciates the effort to try. Yeah, but I mean for me now when I speak to him, it's just via translator, but we can speak a little because honestly we disturb each other a lot. Even the last game we had a little bit of wager also on the game. So
nice.
Yeah, I've got to claim one from him.
You're going to start watching a lot more of those Korean shows on Netflix, man. Squid Game, not enough.
Precisely, and this Korean fever is in Singapore, not only the Squid Game. I think prior to this, many Singaporeans are watching Korean dramas. So I was actually disturbing also, like you Koreans are invading us, Singapore everywhere. TV shows in our team and all kind of thing. So yeah, but of course the Squid Game was timely. It was like something in common that we could speak and talk. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun.
You talk about wager. I want to zoom in on the money man here. Forrest Lee, we know his name. We know his project, which is the Lion City Sailors project, but we don't know him. What is he like in your interactions with him? I'm sure you've conversed with him. What's he like? Give us a bit of insight.
I think we all know that he's a businessman, and of course football is his passion. We know that from the way he speaks. You could feel he's genuine. Like this guy is not here just for whatever reason. You could see that he genuinely loves Singapore football. It's his passion. He wants to succeed. He wants us all to succeed, to actually build a legacy for ourselves. So we feel that. And of course, he having his business, he's most of the time held up with all his other things. But he do take time to address us also. at certain key stages of the season, like before, then time to time popping by, speaking to the team. And yeah, so I think that helps. And it's always good to speak to your boss, to see him, to have some conversations. Yeah, so I think that's why I think he has the respects of all the players, and I think he's well liked by most people also, because I think he's genuine. I would describe him as genuine. Even he's the richest man in Singapore, but he's very down to earth as of what I see and feel. So yeah, I think definitely he's doing the right thing by trying to improve Singapore football, and hopefully he can set the tone. But alone he can really do so much. He still needs the players and the backroom staff to function together.
Yeah.
And all, because if honestly we don't win, people will see it as a failure. Because this is human, you will always complain. First, when they come, you say that you're trying to buy success, and if you win, you say that it's money that buys success. But if you don't win, you say that look, you are throwing stupid money. So either way, you are going to get hantam. So I think important is just stick to what you believe and stick to what. Both of you guys, I believe also you are doing what you love. Even Roshan yourself, I follow last time when you are doing Bundesliga and all. I enjoy your commentary and your analysis, honestly. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
So basically that's about Forest lah.
Thanks, Gabe. I appreciate that, and again, just to return the compliment, I think we've enjoyed watching you play and watching you develop through the years. But okay, let's quicken this up. We're about to run out of time. We want to quicken this up. I want to let you go. Let's do some quick fire things. All right, Gabe.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Toughest opponent or team that you've played against this season?
This season. Opponent. Probably...
Quick.
Oh, quick. How long do I have?
No, just take your time. Just
green light. Red light.
I think Albrecht is tough, opponent. I think that's why we had 3 draws this season. Yeah, I think Albrecht is one of the tough opponents we face this season.
Okay, next question, Gabe. Favorite local player this season?
Local player this season. Favorite local player this season. Myself.
Okay,
answer.
I let you have that one.
Ross, good answer. No, actually, I didn't have this question planned, but now I feel I want to give him a bit of stress. Kim, Robin, or Vidma?
Please, no, man.
You're gonna choose yourself again, huh? Just say me, huh?
No. Aurelio Kim.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I like both, but I worked with Vidma for a year and a half, and I thank him honestly for how I do.
Yeah.
I sent him a lengthy message. Honestly, last year when I win all the individual awards and all, I think he played a huge part because he believed in me. And Coach Kim, we are just at the start, but I sense something big coming, So yeah, I think both play an equally big role. And of course, Coach Robin, he saw me since young. So I think I can't make a decision.
Fantastic answer.
Gabe, who is the biggest joker in the Lion City Sailors dressing room?
I think Tajili, Akari, a couple of us, the louder ones in the room, in the changing room. Yeah.
Is there a dressing room DJ?
Akari.
Okay.
If you had to be stranded on an island with one teammate, who will it be and why?
I will probably bring Tajili.
Why?
Because I think we are pretty close. In fact, I'm very close with most of them, but I think I'm especially more close with Tajili, and I think we connect at a good level. We speak, we joke through Warriors time. So, like what you say, you are stranded on an island. You don't want to there. You won't want to be there just staring at nothing. So I think Tajili is someone whom I see myself. We can go on and having banter at each other and talking for hours until rescue comes.
I think it will be fascinating to watch a series with both of you stuck on an island, because you were talking about a series earlier Gabe, we started this podcast by introducing you as the champion that you are. I just want to give you a chance to speak to your fans who've turned out in droves and supported the team every step of the way. Anything you want to say to them?
Nothing much. Just want to say thank you for supporting me and the team throughout, not only this season, just because we win, but last season when we didn't win, when people thought that we were a failure. And not only the Lion City Sailors team, all the 8-9 teams in the S League, because I think we are actually one, And yeah, thank you for your support, everyone. And I just hope that come next 2 months, let's all gather and support the national team together. And personally, on a level, thank you for supporting me. If you are my fan, if you're not my fan, thank you also for watching and criticizing me, because you give me the strength. Definitely nothing but thanks after a very long season.
And Raushan, before you say goodbye, I want to also thank all the people who have been tuning in, been watching this. Thank you, Gabriel, for your time and all your answers. You've been very generous with it. You've been excellent with all the insight. And for the people tuning in, thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. If I can just be a little bit self-indulgent here, and if you can subscribe, just hit the subscribe button, like, follow, share, whatever it is. Before we go, thank you very much. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the platforms there, Raushan. See us out.
That outro was as long as the whole podcast. Gabe, it's been fabulous speaking to you. We hope you go from one strength to another and bring it home at the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure speaking to you. I had fun.